Hi there, this is John Wilkinson again from History Made Easier, and in this presentation I'll look more closely at President Hoover's response to the crash, which could well be the focus of an exam question. Now, to be fair to President Hoover, this was an exceptional depression, and its full ramifications were difficult to see immediately. Still, he was slow to understand the true nature of the crash. He thought it was a normal business downturn, part of the economic cycle, and that the American economy would soon be back on its feet. The catchphrase he became associated with was that prosperity was just around the corner. Now, though he was accused of doing nothing, this is an exaggeration. It's true that he held to the Republican principle of laissez-faire. He did not see it as the federal government's responsibility to help the homeless and the hungry. He saw this as the responsibility of state governments, or else charities. And he held true to the Republican belief in self-help and rugged individualism. He also held to the principle that one of the most important jobs of a president was to ensure a balanced budget. That is, that it shouldn't spend more than it accrued in taxes. But his government did take a number of measures. To help farmers, the Federal Farm Board, part of the Agricultural Marketing Act of 1929, bought farmers' surpluses in an effort to keep prices up. But the drop in prices was too great for the board to cope with, not with the limited funds it had to work with. And Hoover did provide $423 million for schemes that would provide new jobs. The Hoover Dam on the Colorado River was one such scheme, but it simply went nowhere near to alleviating the situation. He also introduced tax cuts in both 1930 and 1931 in the hope that it would stimulate spending and investment. He also moved quickly to protect the American market in an effort to make American goods cheaper and so more attractive to American consumers. In 1930, the Hawley-Smoot Act increased import tariffs by 50% on a wide range of goods. However, all this meant was that other nations were even less likely to be able to buy American goods by selling their own products in America. And in any case, this wasn't where the real problem lay. The problem was that with so many already unemployed and others in fear of becoming unemployed, Americans were simply not buying goods, American-made or not. But Hoover didn't want to intervene in the manufacturing economy directly, and so instead encouraged firms to make voluntary arrangements to hold their levels of production and to keep their workers' wages up. But such an approach simply didn't work. He set up the Reconstruction Finance Corporation in 1932, which provided $1.5 billion of loans to help businesses. But again, the scale of the problem was such that it hardly helped the overall picture. So there you are, a brief, but I hope a useful presentation. It was his republicanism and his misjudgment of the scale of the Depression that I would focus on. Think of the questions you might face on the way Hoover approached the Depression. Why did Hoover fail to deal with the Depression? You could write a paragraph on his Republican philosophy and one on his misjudgment of the depth of the Depression. Why did people blame Hoover? Again, his misjudgment. But weren't they also blaming republicanism and the presidencies before Hoover? Warren Harding's government and Calvin Coolidge's 2 terms. And there was the depth of the Depression that just left people needing to blame somebody. And of course, why was he known as the do-nothing president? Well, he stuck to those Republican policies and just didn't do enough, given the scale of the Depression, even if the do-nothing label wasn't entirely fair. So, I hope you can put this to good use. Lots of detail in my ebooks if you're interested. And don't forget, I might have a tutorial slot available. Again, if you're interested, just get in touch with me, or better still, get your parents to, at historymadeeasier@gmail.com. But these things are up to you. Let me thank you so much for listening and wish you the very best of luck with your studies. Cheers.